chiffon bonnet and silk parasol much anymore as the faithful gather in the Arroyo Seco of Pasadena for the annual social event of any college football season in Southern California. You come comfortable to the Rose Bowl these days. You open the collar, let the belt out a notch, and just have a good time. At the annual Cross Town Rivalry, this year UCLA hosting USC, the Trojans and the Bruins in the Rose Bowl. And this time, a return to the Rose Bowl on New Year's Day could be part of the winner's future should Washington State lose to Washington at Pullman today. Hello again, everybody. I'm Keith Jackson along with Dan Fouts. And Dan, form doesn't always come to the party in Rivals Week. So far it has and stayed with Ohio State pulling out their win. But here today, the story goes with the senior quarterback and his wisdom against the audacious freshman.
Well, that senior quarterback, of course, for SC is Carson Palmer. He's on the verge of some significant accomplishments. Pac-10 career passing marks, Heisman Trophy talk, beating the Bruins again and being a #1 pick in the NFL. Palmer has done it all statistically, especially in the last 4 games, when he has thrown 15 touchdown passes and has given his team a chance to win by not making the big mistakes that have plagued him throughout his career. Carson Palmer's not thrown an interception in his last 93 throws, and Keith, perhaps his biggest accomplishment is turning potential into reality. Now for those freshman quarterbacks, Drew Olson will start, Matt Moore will play as well. Those two have protected the ball well. They've yet to throw an interception.
There's another freshman over there at Westwood that's been quite a story, the tailback, Tyler Ebell.
Tyler Ebell is a small, shifty running back who's just been super for the Bruins this year. Especially in the last 6 games, he's had over 800 yards rushing, 8 touchdowns, and at least 100 yards rushing per game. His challenge today, Keith, will be facing a tough Trojan defense that has yet to allow a 100-yard rusher this season.
This is the 72nd meeting between the two. The Trojans have an overall edge of 5 games through the years, and they have won the last 4. The Bruins coming into the Rose Bowl now. 7-3, 4-2 in the Pac-10, 24th in the polls. Bob Toledo, 7th year, 49-30. December 7th, they'll play their final game of this season against Washington State. So the Rose Bowl is full. About 92,000 people are going to be here this afternoon to hoot, holler, and have a good time. Arizona and Arizona State will play next Friday in Tucson. UCLA Bruins going with 2 freshman quarterbacks. They have to. Their senior leader, Corey Paws, was hurt in the California game. Broken ankle. He's wearing a boot and is on the sidelines today. And right now he joins our Todd Harris on the field.
All right, thank you, Keith. Well, Corey Paws has the best seat in the house. Unfortunately, it's not the one he wants today. Corey, first of all, let's talk about the ankle. How serious is it, and could you come back for a bowl game?
Absolutely. It was a pretty serious. I actually broke my fibula, but I really wish I could play in this game more than you can imagine, but there's still a chance I can play in the bowl game, and that's really what I'm looking for now.
Let's talk about those 2 freshman quarterbacks. Talk about getting baptized by fire. What do you tell them as they go into this USC game?
Well, I'll tell you what, Skippy. What I do is I just tell them to be ready and understand that this is a big game, but they're young, and they really, not a lot of people are expecting them to do well. So they really just have to go out and play as best as they can, not hold anything back, and just play like they have been the last couple weeks.
All right, Keith and Dan, we'll hear from either sidekick throughout the game. Back up to you.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's an inside joke, folks. But,
and I take full blame for planting the seed there for the new nickname for Todd Harris.
USC won the toss, deferred. UCLA then will have the football in the first possession. Southern California comes in with its vaunted defense, and its defensive front, I think, that is just about as good as anybody. And Ryan Killeen will kick it off with Tad Perry and Jason Harrison waiting for the kick. It's a gorgeous day, about 72 degrees. Tad Perry on the return has a big hole up the middle of the field. Lost the football and a pile up and a fight for it, and the Trojans have got it. And so the Bruins have just exactly what they didn't need off the very outset of the ball game, and that's a turnover as Jason Leach knocked it loose.
It was a great pickup by Perry on the short hop of a very difficult kickoff. But he does not protect the ball as Jason Leach came through and ripped the ball out. Number 27 hitting him low, and then the ball is loose. The Trojans have excellent field position at the 34.
So a bad way to start for the Bruins and a big break for the Trojans. And it's Malefou Mackenzie going in motion as Palmer drops back. He wants to strike quick. He's going deep down the sidelines. There's a man there. The pass is caught. Kareem Kelly, touchdown. One play, Trojans lead. That's the way you throw a jump ball into the end zone. Perfectly thrown ball for Kareem Kelly.
Trojans felt that they could work Matt Ware on a double move, and that's exactly what they did first play of the game. A beautiful fake post by Kelly, and then the great throw by Palmer.
The extra point try now for Killeen. Snap is down and good, and the kick is good. And so before you can take a deep breath, the Southern California Trojans get a turnover, stick the ball in the end zone on one play, and they take the lead by a score of 7-0. We've only used 16 seconds.
There's that double move. You saw Kelly go to the inside. Matt Ware bit real hard on the fake, and the ball perfectly timed by Palmer to get it in before the safety could get over to knock it away. Watch Leach, 27. He hits the ball out of Perry's hand. Then Grant Mattos will get the fumble recovery, and that's the 8th fumble that the Bruins have lost all year.
Carson Palmer today on his way to setting as many as 3 records possibly. Here's Tab Perry now, the young man who lost the ball on the last return. Steve Sarkisian talking to Carson Palmer, and Steve, who played under Lavelle Edwards' leadership and the direction of Norm Chow at BYU, is now the Southern California quarterback coach, and Norm Chow is the USC offensive coordinator. And at the 2-yard line, it's Perry again, looks for a crack over the left side and finds it, and this time holds on to the ball and comes up to about the 29-yard line.
Keith Pete-Carroll's run defense has stopped the very best of the best in the nation this season. National leader Chris Brown of Colorado. Pac-10 rushing leader Steven Jackson of the Beavers. The Cougars' Jermaine Green was stopped. And then the Ducks' Ontario Smith was stuffed and delivered to the surgeon's table earlier this week.
Drew Olson comes out as the quarterback for the UCLA Bruins. He succeeded Corey Paws when he was hurt in the Cal game. His actual first career start came against Washington, a game the Bruins won 34-24. The deep man is Tyler Ebell, and Olson going back throws the ball as he's falling down. It is caught by Mike Steidman, the tight end. So the freshman quarterback coming back trips and falls over the 20-yard choke and delivers a sidearmer as he's going down and completes it.
He's just a little bit tight to start this game, perhaps, or was he tripped? Nope, he just kind of lost his footing. How about the awareness, though, to find his receiver and give him the old Kent Colby toss?
He might have tangled his foot there with Junior Taylor as Junior went by. I don't know, but nonetheless, they gained a yard on a play that could have been a big loss for them. So they go to Tyler Ebell, and Manny White it is. Manny White, the big guy, gets it up to about the 35-yard line. The AT&T wireless starting lineups for the Bruins. The freshman Tyler Ebell has run for 100 yards in 6 consecutive games. He's the first freshman ever to do that at UCLA. The offensive line, it seems to me to be the best run-blocking line in the conference. Their collision with his SC defensive front is going to be special today if you like to watch the big guys rolling around in the trenches. The ball is just over the 35-yard line. And it's Ebell again, the deep back. This time he goes in motion. The backfield is empty. And Olson stands up, has very good protection, and throws the ball very hard. And Mike Steidman had no chance to catch it. And here's a penalty flag, and the referee threw it, and it's probably holding.
It could be roughing the passer, Keith.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, I think they got Omar Nazel with a shot. At least he had a guilty look on his mug when he saw that flag flying.
So usually one of two things, either roughing or more often than not holding. This time it goes against
roughing the passer, defense, 15 yards previous spot, automatic first down.
And so the Bruins get something of a break here as Dave Katias spells out the defense in the holding penalty.
Trying to get the tight end over the middle, and Nazel going low, and that's an excellent call by our official.
Ball was thrown so hard, though, I don't know if anybody could have caught it thrown that high.
Nope.
Over midfield now at the Southern California 49-yard line for the Bruins as they get a chance to play on the Trojan side, and it rebel for 1 yard to the 48-yard line. The Southern California defensive front and the Washington State fronts may be the best in the Pac-10, at least in my view. They've not allowed, as we told you, a runner 100 yards this season to remake a point. The linebacking core, there is some serious speed here. Matt Grudegood leads the team in tackles with 64. And in the secondary, you better know where number 43 is. If you don't watch him closely, you'll miss him because he's healthy and agile again, and he leaves debris behind him. That's Troy Polamalu. Olsen is hit as he throws, and it's an incomplete forward pass, and again it's Nazel. Omar is being turned loose over there. That's the second time now that he's hit the quarterback. The first time he got dinged with a penalty.
Good job of jumping to the inside. A nice little stunt that the Trojans run here. 56 is Nazel as he just overpowers his man and goes right to the quarterback's chest.
Pete Carroll, the head coach, is also the defensive coordinator. And obviously he's done a pretty good job in the 2 years he's been here. Now they go to a shotgun and spread them out with 3 wideouts, and Olsen's pass is thrown and tipped away. The ball is tipped away by Melvin Simmons as he was shirt-tailing the tight end Mike Seidman.
Now you can see what FC is going to be doing all day to both Drew Olsen and Matt Moore. Faking blitzes, faking stunts, coming up, giving him pressure, knocking him down as often as possible. Lets the young 18-year-old know what it's like to play in a big game.
So here comes your punt. Fixie with Carlson waiting. Greg Carlson is waiting. Fixie doing both the punting and the place kicking right now for UCLA. Carlson standing back at the 10-yard line, and they're going to sit there and try to tease the Trojans. They don't move, and they just wait for him. It's a spinner, and it is fair caught. No, it is not fair caught. At the 14-yard line, that was a brave move by Carlson because he had four Bruins looking him right in the eye as he waited for the ball. But no foul on the play, and so the Trojans will start from the 15. Two more yards, set a Pac-10 career passing record in passing yards. And he rolls out and throws again, and he completes the pass again. And it's going to be about a 2-yard pickup as Keary Colbert came over and got it. at.PT wireless starting lineup for the Trojans. Justin Fargas at tailback. Kareem Kelly, senior wide receiver, has caught at least one pass in all 45 games he's played. Offensive line. This group helped when freshman Winston Justice moved into right tackle, and Eric Torres has played 3 different positions. Kareem Kelly is wide along with Mike Williams. Mike Williams, number 1. He's the big freshman who has been a sensation, and he gets the ball out here one-on-one. Sidesteps the first man, second man got him, but it's going to be a first down for Southern California. Matt Ware made the tackle with help from Dave Ball. UCLA defense still missing Rodney Leslie. Broken right foot not healed quite yet, but this is a defense that's allowed only 22 touchdowns, which is 3rd best of the conference. The linebackers, these people really fly around. They're 1, 2, 3 in tackles, totaling 215. Secondary is solid. Matt Ware and Ricky Manning at the corners. There are 2 sophomores, a freshman, and 1 senior, Manning being the senior in that secondary. It is first down, Southern California, out on the 26-yard line. And coming underneath, Keary Colbert making the catch and goes out of bounds right about midway, a little bit short of midfield. He's out at the 48-yard line. He was a half a foot from going for a touchdown.
4 offensive plays for USC, all 4 passes as Palmer is red hot. Little pick play across the middle, well designed by Norm Chow as the tight end Holmes will clear out and let Colbert come underneath and almost go the distance.
Grant Mattos comes into the ball game now for the Trojans. And Kareem Kelly comes out. That's Mackenzie in motion. Again, a pass that's batted around, and it is caught by Mike Williams. And it might be just about the line of scrimmage. Off we go to New York and John Saunders for this update.
All right, Keith, you know Larry Johnson's going to close in on 2,000 yards, and the way he's going, he's going to get it today. 5 carries for 77 yards, including these 11 for a touchdown. Penn State on top of Michigan State, 7-0. Keith.
Thank you, John. Second down and 10. Kelly comes back in for the Trojans. Bruins have got 7 and 8 people in the box as Palmer going down the middle. He's got a man open. The pass is completed. It's touchdown. Keary Colbert.
Offensive plays for Carson Palmer. 6 passes, 6 completions, 2 touchdowns. Why are you even faking the ball to the running back? It's a play-action fake. I guess the Bruins must have felt they had to think they would give it to Fargas sooner or later, but Palmer finds Colbert for another score.
Killeen for the point. Good. So at 10 minutes and 22 seconds to go in the first quarter of play, it's Southern California 14, UCLA nothing.
For the score, but Ricky Manning must do a better job at the line of scrimmage. Get both hands and use that tremendous strength that he possesses.
Yeah, nothing says that you can't chill him, is there? You can stop him cold in his tracks if you can get your hammer on him. That's way back into the end zone. They'll come out for the 20-yard line. First down for UCLA. ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge. Pacific Life, annuities, insurance, and investments rely on the strength of Pacific Life. Circuit City. We know how you feel. That's why we're here. Circuit City, we're with you. And AT&T Wireless. AT&T Wireless brings you M-Life, your mobile life made better. So Southern California, 8-2 on the year. 1 game behind in the Pac-10 standings. UCLA coming to the attack, trying to find something. They get it down the field, and Tyler Ebell has that carry.
Bruin fans will remind you that they have fallen behind 4 times this year to some pretty good football teams and have come back to win the game. This may be the best team, not only in this conference, but right up there. The way the Trojans are playing right now, they may be one of the best teams in the entire country.
Especially that defensive front with those assassins they've got at linebacker. Look at Troy Polamalu. The free safety is up on the line of scrimmage, and he gets in on the tackle. He got a piece of it. Udeze will get most of the credit for that tackle, but Polamalu, number 43, the free safety, was playing on the line of scrimmage and was right there when the tackle was made.
He's such a huge distraction. Not only is he a great player and has the ability to run things down from behind, but the quarterback must be aware of where he is. He's totally unblocked here, and the Bruins are beat right off the snap of the ball. The penetration by Udeze.
3rd down and 6 now for young Drew Olson, the quarterback. Pressure coming, gets the pass away, setting up a screen for Ebell. Ebell pops it out of there. Tyler Ebell fumbles the football. Bruins pick it up. They've still got it. The man covering it was Junior Taylor, a wide receiver who was trailing the play and was coming down hoping to get a block, and he found instead the football bumping around.
Yeah, Polamalu popped the ball loose from Tyler Ebell. A great call, though, by UCLA to come with the screen after all the pressure that the Trojans could give you. Now the quickness, great cut right there. Ebell decided he thought he should cut back there on Grotegood. There's the pop out by Polamalu and the heads up by Taylor to pick up the loose ball.
And the Bruins are cooking at the Trojan 44-yard line after getting a lucky break there. 14-0 SC leading here in the first quarter. Run a reverse. Ball going with Craig Bragg. Bragg is trapped behind the line of scrimmage and taken down back on the UCLA 48. That'll be a loss of about 4 yards. Next Saturday, we've got a great lineup of Thanksgiving weekend college football at 10 in the morning Pacific time. Most of you will see the Hurricanes of Miami against Syracuse. And then at 5 Pacific time, these Southern California Trojans will be in the Coliseum against the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, plus some other regional action. Next Saturday on ABC Sports, a class of college football. It is second down now, and let's call it 17. Ebel coming around, looking and looking. He gets something out of those kind of plays, but it's Matt Grotegood who tracks him down, the sophomore outside linebacker. Grotegood only weighs 205 pounds and stands 5'11", and you have to stop walking to hear him talk. But he's fierce on the football field, very active. Tab Perry is leaving the ball game for UCLA, or very gingerly, I might add. He apparently was shaken up on that play.
And Dubravak, who has suffered a concussion earlier, is in the game replacing him.
Dubravak's been known to throw off the reverse. Olsen will do the throwing if he has a chance. He doesn't have a chance. The Trojans just went right to him, right after him. And it's Bernard Riley, the big senior, number 93, who gets that tackle, and UCLA's got to punt the ball away.
Middle linebacker. Right here, Mike Pollard is going to come straight up the middle, and he's unblocked. He gets knocked down by Ebel, but that forced the quarterback to move to the left side and get sacked.
So Fixie in for the punt, and Carlson waiting back at his 10. Last time he showed some courage, daring them to penetrate the 2-yard halo. It's a bad snap over the head of Fixie. Trojans bearing down on him. He's got to pick it up and try to do something with it. He has no chance to kick it. There's just too many Trojans. And here's Southern California sitting down there around the 20-yard line. First down. Rusty Williams snapped it over his head.
And Rusty Williams is the normal long snapper for the Bruins. He's a senior, and this is a horrible mistake. Look how far over Fixie's head the ball is. Now, Fixie's only 5'9". He would have had to be 6'9" to bring that ball down. He does a wonderful job at going back and preventing the Trojans from recovering it and getting whatever little he can out of this disaster. Second disastrous play in the first quarter for the Bruins.
The ball is put. There's Rusty. Nobody feels worse than he does, I guarantee you. The ball is on the UCLA 23-yard line now for Southern California. They send Williams to the top of your picture to team up with Kelly up there. Colbert's down at the bottom of the picture, and Palmer's looking left. And the Bruins got a piece of him, flush him out of the pocket. Now he's going to pull it down and get what he can, and that's quite a bit. Oh, my goodness. He went high up and over. And I'll bet you that Pete Carroll hasn't taken a breath yet.
Palmer thought he got into the end zone, but you cannot see a better effort at totally selling out. Watch, he sees this huge lane. He sees the pylon. He knows what he has to have, and now he knows the effort he must make. Incredible effort. Great tackle by Ricky Manning, and a yard shy for Palmer.
But he is the man. Without him, the Trojan offense is one-legged. Here's Justin Fargas for the touchdown. Fargas, the tailback, just slams it into the end zone, and Southern California's out 20-0. That was their first rushing play of the ball game. In that possession, they go 8 plays and stick it in the 8 plays in the ball game. They have scored 3 touchdowns. This one from the 23-yard line. So the offense really hasn't earned its lunch break yet.
I don't know. 21's pretty good.
21 points is pretty good, but the manual labor is pretty minimal. Kick is good. 21-0, Southern California at 5:42 to go in the first quarter, and here is one of the better quarterbacks in the country risking himself at the goal line, and then Fargas stuck it in the end zone.
Rob Schneider has been a gigolo. He's been an animal. And
Bruins get the ball and get it outside with Perry, and Perry pounding down the sidelines has a big return. So they've been able to run the ball on the kickoff returns, and they're certainly getting a lot of practice at it. But they're out here in the middle of the field now to start this possession.
Well, you know, Tad Perry wants to make up for that fumble. Here he is, starts up here and then cuts to the outside behind this wedge. Do a nice job of opening a huge crease. And now it's between Perry and Colleen squares up and forces him to the sidelines.
So here are the Bruins at the 49-yard line on their side of the field, trailing by 3 touchdowns. There must be shock. All you can do is hunker down and restart things if you can. This is Tyler Ebell on the sweep to the right side. That's Trojans eating up. Kenichi Udeze.
Keith, let's take a look at our Dodge defensive playbook, and it's USC with the safety blitz by Troy Polamalu right here. He's going to come up and then blitz, but watch Kenichi Udeze shoot the inside gap here, and that will bring down Tyler Ebell. But the presence of Troy Polamalu and then the quickness of Udeze, and that's why this is such a great defensive team.
Loss of 2 yards on the play, second down and 12. Akil Harris now is in there at the deep back position with Manny White in front of him, and Harris gets the ball. It would seem to me, and I'm not second guessing, I'm just giving you an opinion, that the UCLA running game, particularly with Ebell in there, might be better off between the tackles than they are trying to go outside against Southern California.
Well, with Ebell, what you have is a young man who has the toughness to run between the tackles, Keith, and yet he's got the threat of the speed to the outside. That will thin out this defensive line and give him some cracks in the middle.
Now it's Manny White, the big guy in the backfield, with Bragg coming across in motion. Trojans might have penetrated there, or the Bruins might have moved, and we've got a penalty flag on the play. I don't know if the right side of the Bruin line moved. Trojans were moving early, and it's offside against USC. So they'll pick up 5 on that. Tomorrow, Annika Sorenstam, Kari Webb, and Sari Pak at a field of the LPGA's top 30 money winners. Don't miss final round coverage of the ADT Championship tomorrow at noon Pacific on ABC Sports. If Annika gets up in the morning with a better putting stroke, she's liable to harvest that thing pretty early. Tyler Ebell back in the ball game now. He stands about 5'9", they say, and he said he weighed 177 pounds. That was before supper Friday. Little option action goes to Ebell. Oh, I'll tell you what. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 Trojans involved. Marcell Almond coming up from a cornerback position was at the bottom of it.
And Matt Grotegood forced the pitch. Here's Grotegood. Watch him come down here. That will get the ball out of the quarterback's hands. Now Ebell just has not enough lead in his pencil to break through Kenichi Udeze and Mike Patterson to pick up the first down.
And on 4th and a long one, they'll punt it again with Bixby back there. And again, Carlson standing at the 10-yard line. They're anticipating, of course, he'll kick it into the end zone. Rusty Williams now, a little white knuckler on this one probably after what happened the last time, but this snap is right on target. High hanger, they might kill it deep. And fumble. He sat down and sort of had the ball in his lap, and I think he kept it.
Boy, it's a thrill a minute on the punt team and the kickoff return team. Carson Palmer has turned it all around this season, his 6th season here at USC. 1999 is when he broke his collarbone, but you can see if you add up all these numbers to this point. It's 39, 39 TDs to interceptions. The improvement this year is the reason why he is a serious Heisman Trophy candidate. And these numbers here just add to his argument.
Well, he finally got a successive years with the same offensive coordinator. That probably helped too.
Yep, Norm Chow.
This is Justin Fargas, who goes slanting to the right side, and Fargas is on the field as a starting tailback because he slams into that run as hard as anybody. Not the biggest guy around. He's in the 190s, but he's quick enough. He was a sprint champion in high school at Notre Dame High School over in Sherman Oaks. Had the dreadful injury at Michigan, transferred back, and he's finishing up his senior season as the starting tailback for USC. Gain on the play was 5 yards. He got 5 yards on first down. That's another reason why he's in the ballgame. And throw to Kelly. Trying to spin away from the Bruin tackler. Can't quite break loose of it. And it's going to be a first down for SC, and we'll spend a moment now with Todd Harris.
Well, Keith, Justin Fargas has already played at the Rose Bowl against UCLA when he was a member of the Michigan team that you spoke of. Now, on his final 3 lists of schools when he was coming out of high school, UCLA was one of them and USC was one of them. But Bob Toledo made a comment they were only going to recruit him as a cornerback. He said he would have helped us as a cornerback. He wanted to play tailback. He's USC's tailback now, and he's got payback on his mind.
He'd have been an All-American cornerback, because I used to argue with Lloyd from the 23-yard line up to the 26, close to the 27.
Well, Fargas has been the medicine the Trojan running game has needed, Keith. Especially the last 2 years. His hard-running slashing style is perfectly suited to SC's zone blocking scheme. You know, he won't break many long runs, but his nearly 5 yards per carry keeps defenses off balance. He is a tough runner. One cut and go for Justin Fargas.
Carson Palmer now looking at second down and 6, 7 out of 7 for 128 yards and 2 touchdowns. Goes back to his running back. And there's going to be a bit of a loss on the play, stopping him inside the 25. Boschetti and Marcus Reese. Reese, 44, the middle linebacker, and Boschetti, number 75.
You know, both offenses are basically in the same position here, regardless of what the score is. It's so early in the game. You just have to go back to your game plan, your script, if you will. SC knows they have a huge lead here, but they have to go back to running the plays they designed during the week they practiced and to get back into a normal rhythm and not change just because they have a huge lead.
Palmer throwing on 3rd and long and goes right through the hands of Mike Williams. He was right there.
Yeah, I wonder if the sun got in his eyes, Keith, because that ball was right there, thrown hard, but on a line, perfectly leading the receiver, Williams. If you look at the shadows, you can see that they're right in line. Ball's going to be thrown right here. Look at the shadows. Yeah, he must have lost that in the sun. That went right by his nose.
Yeah, he didn't see it. Malone to punt. Bragg waiting for it. Bruins could get pretty good field position out of this if they handle the ball properly. Malone should hit it around the 15-yard line. Pretty good kick. It's a beauty. Oh, a lot of air time. A lot of hang time. Pretty good move at a return, and penalty flag is going to trail the play back at the 22-yard line. So Craig Bragg doing a good job with it, but let's see about this penalty. Holding, probably. Or pushing the back. That holding against the Bruins.
It's Glenn O'Hare.
During the return,
number
holding
20.
On the receiving team. Penalty 10-yard spot of the foul. First down.
Yeah, at that point, O'Hare's got to let him go and let Bragg just make a move and make the guy miss.
Mom and Dad and the family and Drew Olson, as we told you, from Piedmont. That's up in the East Bay area, but it's family day at the Rose Bowl among the 92,000 people. So many of these people who are playing the game today are from the contiguous region. The snap of the ball is from the 11-yard line, and Drew Olson going to get hit from behind, gets his pass away. The pass is incomplete. And the ball and the defender arrived about the same time. Tab Perry was the man under the ball for the Bruins, and DeShaun Hill defending for the Trojans.
Yeah, pretty good timing by DeShaun Hill. Senior playing his last game for the Trojans here against the Bruins.
You know, he's been a tough guy all season long. He really has. He has played a lot of good football this year for him.
Yeah, he's been able to stay healthy, and as a senior, really provide the leadership, especially when Polamalu went out for a short time.
Olsen pitches to Evel. Now he got a block that time, and then he couldn't get around the corner. Marcell Almond was right there. Vieira, who has probably more pancakes than anybody, threw a one good block, but he needed more than one, and Almond was there. Your first quarter score, 21-0. Southern California over UCLA. ABC Sports presentation of college football back after this message and a word from our ABC station.
Allstate presents Good Hands Flashback. In the 1979 Cotton Bowl, Notre Dame quarterback Joe Montana led the Irish back from a 23-point deficit against Houston. With 2 seconds remaining in the game, Montana found Chris Haynes for an 8-yard touchdown pass to tie the score. The subsequent extra point gave Notre Dame the 35-34 victory and the
for a first down by Craig Bragg.
Here's our Pacific Live game summaries about UCLA mistakes in that first quarter. Opening kickoff, Tab Perry is hit by Jason Leach. That led to a SC touchdown. Polamalu punches that loose, but UCLA recovers. Then the high snap by Rusty Williams led to SC's third touchdown of the first quarter, 21-0. But that was the first pass reception for a UCLA wide receiver this afternoon.
Ball is on the 29-yard line. After the completion, they'll run it here, find a little daylight. See, there's room inside there, and that's a pickup of 8 yards by Manny White. And Polamalu brings him down.
If you look at the strength of this SC defense, it is in the linebackers, Grotegood, Pollard, and Simmons, and then you add Polamalu to the mix. But they're not big guys, and UCLA's offensive line is huge. They feel they have a real advantage in the power run game, as we just saw with that 8-yard gain.
Perry in motion. White the ball, stops, comes back into the middle, and they stop him right on the line of scrimmage. So they'll be looking at 3rd down and 2.
But Manny White's strength is not cutting back. When you cut back against SC, that's where their agility and penetration pays off. Mike Patterson forces Manny White to cut back into the middle where all the Trojans are.
Mike Patterson is a key to the interior line play for Southern California. When he had Sean Cody at his elbow, they were terror. Cody's out with an injured knee. It's 3rd down, and it's closer to 2 than 1, but it'll go down in the books as 1, and White's a deep back. And Olsen's going to throw, and does, and made it. Caught by Mike Seidman, the tight end. So they've been to Seidman early on in the ball game, and now go back to him, and they get a big play out of it.
And this type of play will just do wonders for a young quarterback's confidence. A critical 3rd and 1, down by 21 points. You must convert on 3rd down. Here's Seidman, just a little out route, the fake, and then the bootleg by Drew Olsen. Does a good job with the fake right there. Gets his eyes turned around and finds Seidman for the first down. Big play for Drew.
Ball is on the 47-yard line now. Olsen back. Wanted to go deep. Now takes off with it. And we'll take it down to the 45-yard line on the Trojan side of the field. It'll be short by 2 yards as Grotegood made the tackle.
You can see why Drew Olsen has not thrown an interception yet as a Bruin. Very disciplined in the pocket there. Saw the opening and then took off and did not force the ball down the field.
He's 6'3". He's lanky. pretty well put together. There's Corey Ford with a boot on, walking around with a broken fibula. Akil Harris is into the backfield now for UCLA. And it's Manny White carrying here from the fullback position, and he will have the first down. On second down and 2, they go over the right side, get behind Mike Safer and Steve Vieira, and move the chain.
You know, the original plan for Bob Toledo and his 2 quarterbacks was to play Matt Moore, number 7, here in the second quarter. But when you fall behind by 21 points in the first quarter, I think a lot of those plans may go out the window.
I think they have. Matt's a true freshman. He likes you too. You know, he's going to put on some more weight. He's probably going to spend his summer in the weight room. Back goes Olsen. Throws it on a line. Ball is caught. It's Craig Bragg. And Bragg's inside the 10 down to the 7-yard line.
John Pierce, quarterback coach, told me the thing about Drew Olsen is he can make all the throws. This is a tough one where you have to gun the post route into your wide receiver. The ball thrown perfectly, nice and low, so Bragg can make the catch without worrying about getting the big hit. And then when you get Bragg the ball in the secondary like this, he's got all kinds of moves and all kinds of ability to get extra yardage.
So here are the Bruins now, knocking on the door. They put it on the 8-yard line. Go to Manny White. He's got a hold. He's got a touchdown. Took it over the left side. McCloskey, Assayas, and Bolander.
And with the backside pulling, Vieira and Safer, the entire offensive line just flew the Trojans off the line of scrimmage, and White goes in easily. The down blocks here, watch the pull here by Vieira, and then White is right into the end zone. Great trap block there by Mike Safer.
The point try by Fixie is good. So the Bruins now showing a little life as they get on the scoreboard with 11:27 to play in the first half. It's now 21-7. Football brought to you by Chevy Trucks. The most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. Rocky Mountain Cold Coors Light. Cold down easy. And Aflac. Ask about it at work.
Talking about that UCLA offensive line, Keith, very important that they be the strength today because they have a freshman quarterback or 2 playing and a redshirt freshman at tailback in Tyler Ebell. They must set the tone.
Kareem Kelly, Mike Williams, and Keary Colbert all at the bottom of your picture there. And Carson Palmer comes out and throws quickly to Mike Williams. He gets him in a one-on-one, and he's a tough guy. The ball comes out, and Southern California pounces on it to keep it.
I think he fell right back down on top of that ball, Keith. So you can see how quickly things can change. Momentum can swing back and forth. Whenever one team has a couple of mistakes early, you know the other team's going to have their share. Great tackle there by Ricky Manning. That gets the ball loose, but a very fortunate bounce for Mike Williams.
Ball is on the 31-yard line. First down. Malefou Mackenzie now is the beat back. Malefou does a lot of things for you. Slants it over the left side and gets about 3 yards. On Friday, we suggest you warm up the leftovers and settle down in your favorite chair. We'll kick off at 9 o'clock in the morning Pacific time. Texas A&M and Texas. Woo-wee. Then at 12:30 Pacific, you'll have Colorado and Nebraska. That's Friday on ABC Sports, the classic college football. Second down and 8. And it's Fargas now back in there at tailback. He's got it. He thumps in there with some authority, I'll tell you. Ricky Manning came up, met him, and he turned him upside down. Fargas 6'1", 210. Ricky, of course, is 5'9", 180, but he is really strong. That time Fargas marked. It'll be 3rd and 1. 21-7 ball game. Trojans leading. 9:40 to go in the first half. Colbert is the man in motion. Palmer turns and gives to Fargas, and there's your first down. I don't know now. That's a pretty quick call. It'd be close.
Ben Emanuel coming up, crowding the line of scrimmage, got penetration, and he may have just snuffed out that first down run.
It's close.
Showed excellent quickness and a real solid tackle.
Ben's getting bigger. He's up to 6'3" and 267 pounds now. From Flower Mound, Texas. That's just north of Dallas, and it is short.
Yeah,
6 inches.
The great thing about Emanuel is he doesn't hesitate. When he comes on the blitz, he comes full go. Number 24 coming right in here, totally unblocked.
They're going to go for it too. And that's a good solid hit.
Carson Palmer is excellent on the quarterback sneak, especially with a guy 6'6", 230 pounds.
Didn't need much, and he got it. Norm Katnick, the center, just plowed him a furrow, and Carson fell down and right in it. Well, the earth was still warm. Now time for the Aflac trivia question, and the question this week: which one of these USC quarterbacks did not start the USC-UCLA game as a freshman? And they are. Boy, they set up all night to figure this one out. Rodney Peete, Todd Marinovich, Rob Johnson, and Carson Palmer. Which one of those four did not start this ball game, the USC-UCLA game as a freshman? I missed it. Ball is on the 42-yard line for the Trojans, their side of the field, and Palmer back to throw. Lets it go, has his man, ball thrown very low, right at his feet, and Mackenzie could not pick it up. Here in New York City is John Saunders with an update.
Keith, Penn State's got it going against Michigan State. This is Bryant Johnson. This is a punt return, and he barely gets touched. The breakaway speed down the sidelines. Now it's just a question of how fast he'll get there, and he does. 21-0. The problems for the Spartans continue.
Yeah, that's become quite a mess. Too bad. Penn State, on the other hand, good year for Joe and good year for Coach Johnson and his family. I mean, little Larry, he's a heck of a player. Ball is swung out to Fargas out of the backfield, and Justin's going to have, again, 5 yards, maybe 6. Seems like every time he gets it, he's got 5 or 6.
And this is the first time that Palmer has found somebody other than his wide receivers to throw the ball to. Fargas gets in behind Winston Justice, who is really turning into a heck of a offensive tackle for the Trojans. Had a great game last week against Arizona State when he went up against Terrell Suggs.
Thrown right on the numbers and caught by Kareem Kelly. Kareem Kelly now has caught a pass in all 46 games that he's played in the Trojan colors.
Just a slant route, but watch where the ball is delivered. He gets that great move to the inside, and again, just as Drew Olson did earlier, you got to throw that slant route into the body of the receiver so that he can secure the catch, make the first down, not worry about getting his head knocked off.
Matt Ware defending on the play. He's pretty good. But Kelly, all Kareem's play there. Ball is exactly on the 45-yard line for Palmer as he turns around and gives it to Sultan McCullough into the ball game now at tailback, and he's going to have about 3 yards. These aerial pictures, courtesy of Goodyear's newest blimp, Spirit of America, based in Carson, California. Goodyear built the first blimp back in 1925 and currently operates 3 of these airships. Nice ride up there today, huh?
Yeah, beautiful.
2nd down and 7. And we got a whistle stopping it.
They're waiting for the blimp to move.
Right of the play. Dead ball foul, delay a game. Offense. 5 yards. Main 2nd down.
We told you Dave Katai is a referee. The umpires John Pemberton, Dale Newhouse head linesman, line judge Cap Anderson, Brad Glenn side judge, Michael Mothershed field judge, and the back judge is Jim Northcutt.
And Dale Newhouse is retiring after this year, Keith. He's been with the Pac-10 for about 300 years.
Yeah, and Walt Wolf's retiring. Some others, I think, going to be leaving too.
Congratulations, Dale.
Pretty hard to keep up and up down that field too many years, you know. That ball is thrown very hard and a little bit behind Keary Colbert. Incomplete forward pass.
So a couple of mistakes, back-to-back plays for the Trojans. Not getting the play off in time for the delay of game penalty. And then Palmer throws his worst pass of the afternoon behind Colbert as he is open in front of Ricky Manning. Tough adjustment for Colbert.
Mike Williams has now come off the field. He had a bit of a problem with his quadriceps. Didn't go to the training room, though, 1 week. The week ahead off, and he finally got it pretty well cured. This is Fargas trying to go around the corner, goes airborne. Going over Ricky Manning. Ricky now getting his neck bowed a little bit over on that side of the field.
The Bruins can run a little bit on defense, too. We talk about the great speed of SC, but Gerard Page, the true freshman, really makes this play. Watch him fly up here. Number 4 from his safety position there. That forces Fargas all the way to the outside, and no chance at picking up the first down.
And Malone is in the punt with Craig Bragg waiting for it. And Bragg standing back at the 10. If the ball hits inside the 10, normally the rule of thumb is on a firm field, let it go. That's a high drifter. Drops at the 6, goes straight up in the air, and the Trojans kill it right there. So that time the old homily didn't provide a whole lot of help. It's first down for the Bruins at the 6.
Hey, maybe that's their,
Reg?
yeah.
$14 points. And Matt Moore is in at quarterback. 6'4", 180-pound freshman from Valencia. He's another one of those Hart High School quarterbacks. Drops the ball off the snap, turns and hands it away to Tyler Ebell, and Tyler gets it out to about the 14-yard line.
You know, knowing Bob Toledo, that was probably a designed fumble, a trick play for the Bruins. It really acted as a delay because it gave Ebell the chance to pick it up and then find a little hole over this right side. I'm sure that one's going to the playbook next week.
And a lot of Bruin hearts went thumpity thump thump, wasn't it? He was laying on the ground. 2nd down, 3. That was Seidman moving over. Dropped it again. Trojans have it. Coming out too soon, looks like it.
That's an awful lot to ask a freshman who was redshirting most of the year. Take the ball at the 6-yard line. Olsen took his team 89 yards the last time out in 10 plays. Look at the ball just laying on the ground. No good bounce to the Bruins here, and the Trojans have unbelievable field position to start this next drive.
14-yard line.
You can be sure that Toledo will be second-guessed for putting in Matt Moore in such terrible field position, especially after Drew Olsen played so well in that last drive.
Palmer's going to strike for it on first play. Gets his pass off. The pass is caught to the sidelines. Keary Colbert won't get in. He's wrestled out of bounds at about the 6-yard line by Matt Ware. Well, he drops the ball on successive snaps, and the second time he lost it.
Palmer getting about 5 seconds to find Colbert across the entire field. SC's quarterback, Palmer, been protected very well this year. Just 2 sacks per game, 20 overall. Pretty good starting field position for the Trojans. You can't get much better than that.
Well, 13-yard line twice, I think it is. This one probably goes officially 13-yard line for a start. That's Williams in motion. Give it to Fargas. Cuts it back. Goes inside the 5. They'll stop him at the 4. And it's fairly close to the first down. Here's your answer for your Aflac trivia question. I'm not going to mess around with it. I'm just going to tell you right now. It was Rob Johnson, who was the quarterback who did not start in the USC-UCLA game as a freshman. And yet Rob Johnson, isn't he? Was the man that held all the records till Carson and Palmer came along. Or many of the records.
Yep.
Ball is right on the 5, where it is third down and a long one. And Fargas is deep. And he gets it. And he hammers in there, and he looks like the mark is going to give him the 3, so that'll be first and goal, Southern California.
No, Fargas reminds me of Marcus Allen, the way he hits the ball, the hole so quickly without any hesitation. Tough to stop him. If he gets a side on you at all, an arm tackle will not bring him down.
He's been invited to go to the Senior Bowl game. There'd been conversation. I guess they may have filed the papers for a 6th year, but chances are he won't get that. So by going to the Senior Bowl, he gets exposed to all the professional folks. On first and goal, comes back to Fargas, and he is hammered right about the line of scrimmage, and it's Jared Page among the first to get there.
Page making a couple big plays on this drive. 6'1", 200-pounder, 18 years old.
Rusty Williams is back in. Boschetti comes in. Your goal line defense in there now. The big guys, as many as they can get out there. And Palmer stands up to throw it. Does over the middle, and the ball is slapped away. Nice play by number 4, Jared Page. Well, that's another freshman from San Leandro, California, making a play.
Let's take a look from the Goodyear blimp, Keith. Watch the pressure here on Palmer, and that's why this ball is not going to be complete. Linebacker gets a free run. He could not set his feet, could not get the ball out in front of his tight end home. And so give Brandon Schiller credit for disrupting that play.
Third and goal from the 2. Palmer's pass, good. Mackenzie, touchdown. Slipped out of the back. Slipped through the hole and was all alone. So the Trojans go back. Have a chance to make it a 21-point lead again because of UCLA mistakes. California's leading Stanford 10-7 in the second quarter, and Oregon State's leading Oregon 16-3 in the second quarter. And here it is 28-7, Southern California leading UCLA with 3 minutes and 56 seconds to play in the first half. Their 72nd meeting. Taken by Tab Perry, and Perry is all the way out to about the 45-yard line. Why 2 quarterbacks and why 2 freshman quarterbacks? Well, here's what Bob Toledo had to say yesterday.
Neither one of them have thrown an interception. They both thrown a touchdown. They've both been extremely good. Why can't 2 quarterbacks play? There's a lot of players that play other positions. So that's our feeling right now.
Neither of them had thrown interceptions nor fumbled a snap, but Matt Moore fumbled 2 snaps on his only 2 plays, and he's going to come back out as the quarterback for Toledo. A little better field position, though, this time for him. This is where he should have put him in instead of on the 6-yard line.
He'd be 7 points better off, wouldn't he? Here's that play action. The ball is thrown behind the receiver, Seidman. So Matt Moore on the move, throwing, and he's about a yard left of his target.
I just don't buy using 2 quarterbacks. Even if they were seniors, you would be hesitant to alternate them. But as freshmen with such little experience, we don't know how they will handle adversity. We don't know how they will handle interceptions or turnovers. When you've got 2 quarterbacks, basically you have 0 quarterbacks.
Moore's pass again thrown behind the receiver, but it's a very good reach back for making the catch on Manny White's part. White saved the play by getting the ball behind him. Coming up on the Capital One halftime show, John Saunders, Terry Bowden, and they'll have the stories of all the big games, the old traditional games around the country today, all over the country. Lots to talk about. It'll be 3rd down and 1. Akil Harris and Manny White in the backfield on 3rd and 1. I would presume that's White's carry here. Yep, he's got it. And he goes all the way down to the 40-yard line.
We haven't seen a lot of Tyler Ebell in this ball game, have we?
Not as much as I thought we would.
He's got 8 carries, 27 yards, but he told us he'd like to carry it 40 times, but I think that Toledo's thinking power instead of speed.
Well, it's a mistake that have put the Bruins in this well. White's a single back. More back. Flush, tackle, sack by Kenichi Udeze. The game's a lot faster than a freshman can imagine until he's been baptized, and Matt Moore is getting baptized
UCLA.
right now.
Timeout number 1.
He had good time to throw initially. The pocket collapses, and there's Udeze.
UCLA timeout. Underneath, and that'll get him down to the 37-yard line. That's going to leave him 7 yards to go on 3rd down.
Perry on the outside, a shallow cross as Seidman clears out. SC in just its own coverage, and watches they close Grotegood and Pollard with the big hit on Perry.
Got Bragg moving. Pressure coming. Moore run away from it. Grotegood gets on his back, and the pass is incomplete. Defended on the play by DeShaun Hill.
That's why it's tough to be a freshman quarterback in the Pac-10. A lot of different looks that SC gave Moore before the ball was even snapped. You can see all the movement back here. And then the blitz from the outside, totally unblocked from both sides. And then tight coverage by DeShaun Hill. It's a well-coordinated defense of Pete Carroll's. Dropping back into his zone and blitzing at the same time.
With a minute and a half to go in the first half, it's 4th and 7. Bruins going for it out of the shotgun formation with a true freshman at quarterback. Tyler Ebell is in the backfield. And a little play action. Now he's got time, throws it back to Ebell, and the tackle is made by Matt Grotegood. Great tackle by Grotegood. Read the play perfectly and took his man down. And the Bruins give it up on the Trojan 40.
Grotegood took his man down because that was his man. Here's Grotegood. Ebell is back here. He's going to come out into the screen and watch Grotegood just close. Man-to-man coverage. He goes right to the tailback and uses his quickness to get inside 3 Bruins for the tackle.
So, Trojans now will try to do a little something extra as Palmer goes deep, and he's got a receiver wide open, and Mike Williams dropped the football.
Keith, a couple of times last week against Arizona State, exact same thing happened. That bad quad, his bad ankle, not able to stretch out and make a catch, or he walks into the end zone. Ball is perfectly laid out there for Mike Williams, but at the end of it, he just doesn't have the ability to reach out and go get it. Left hand down to the ground.
Well, that's I'm glad I'm not his coach. That'd be a pinner right about now. Palmer throws this one underneath. This is a screenplay. There's a penalty flag in the wake of it. The ball goes to Sultan McCullough. The gain is down to the UCLA 45-yard line, but there's a flag in the wake of it. And it's holding Southern California.
Holding. Offense. Penalties from the previous spot, 10 yards. Repeat, second down.
Minute 12 to play. The other games going on right now in the Pacific Pac-10. 16-7 California over Stanford with 10 minutes, 11 minutes to go in the first half. Oregon State 17-3 over Oregon with 8:39 to play in the first half. And it's second down and 20 now for the Trojans. Palmer with a swing out to McCullough, and McCullough is taken down on a good open field tackle by Ricky Manning.
Bruins should be thinking about calling timeout.
Well,
letting the clock run for
they've got two.
No reason.
They've got two.
The players on the field are looking to the sidelines wanting to call a timeout. And now they finally do get the signal out there.
Yeah, but they wasted 20 seconds. Clock
still haven't got it stopped.
No, they didn't call it.
I saw one coach signaling for it, but not that one, and that's the one that counts.
Alex Holmes, the tight end, moves over. And Palmer hands the ball off to Sultan McCullough. Fresh legs and his speed. He could pop it, but he doesn't. And they've stopped him with 17 seconds. And now UCLA has called a timeout. Now, finally, they've got one left. 17 seconds to go in a half.
After that penalty,
well, it was 56 seconds, I know for a fact, when they could have called it and didn't, and now ran it all the way down to 17. So that's 39 seconds. We know for certain. So in the punt is Tom Malone. Last one was a beauty. This is his third punt of the first half. He's another freshman from Lake Elsinore. Kicks away, almost got to it. Going to be returned by Craig Bragg a little bit back to the 29-yard line. And now on the exchange, the clock shows 6 seconds. One play. One play.
And they'll go into halftime with a timeout. Trailing by 21. Keith.
Can't say that Wisconsin beat up Minnesota in the Big Ten today, 49-31. There's a lot of scores around. John and Terry to talk about. The Capital One halftime show in just a minute. 29-yard line, one play for the Bruins. Neal, need it, take it to the clubhouse. Halftime score, Southern California 28, UCLA 7. Now let's go to John Saunders. Yeah, not yet. Let's see if Todd finds somebody to talk to before we go off for the halftime visit. Here's Todd now with Pete Carroll.
Coach, could you have asked for a better start?
That was a great start. No doubt about that now. We didn't even dream that big, but it's a long game now, 30 minutes. You know, you can kind of feel it. We didn't take control of the game in the second quarter the way we'd like to, so we'll see what happens in the third quarter.
You impressed with Carson Palmer as your heart started beating after that jump into the end zone?
Yeah, it came back. It came back once he got up and was jumping up and down, but that was pretty crazy.
Good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
The offensive leaders for Southern California, and remind you that's made considerable by the Bruins' mistakes.
Carson Palmer's 2 rushes. One was that 22-yarder that stopped Pete Carroll's heart, and then he converted on a 4th down quarterback sneak to keep a drive going. But converting on all 3 UCLA mistakes, turning all 3 into touchdowns, Keith.
Palmer has had about as good a half, I guess, as you could ever want from a quarterback. There was a couple of times where he let the ball get behind his receivers and didn't move it. But certainly leading 28-7, you got to be pretty satisfied going to the shade. Now, let's go to John Saunders and Terry Bowden at Times Square Stadium.
Kickoff, the high snap from Rusty Williams on a punt, and then Matt Moore fumbling at the 6-yard line. So those things have got to be corrected, obviously. Well, it'll be interesting to see if Toledo goes back to Drew Olson, which he should do because Olson played very well in that first half.
Well, I think he indicated he would. He'd give Matt Moore the second quarter. He went ahead and did it and paid dearly for it.
Now, SC will get the ball to start the second half, so it's up to UCLA's defense to stop them, get the ball back, give Drew Olson good field position to work with.
Southern California looking pretty strong as they get ready for the second half, receiving the ball, and will have the first offensive series as they let the ball go through the end zone and it'll come out to the 20-yard line where it'll be first down. Now let's join Todd Harris.
All right, Keith, Coach Bob Toledo, simple task. He's down 28-7. 2 things. Turnovers killed him. And he said we've got to get a stop when we come out, and we got to get a score right away if we want to stay in this game. Simple as that. Keith?
Easier said than done. First, you got to get the stop. And so far, they really haven't stopped the Trojans.
They barely have slowed them down.
Nope. Fargas is your tailback. He gets it, cuts back into the traffic, and pounds away and gets about 5 yards. So it's 1st and 5.
If we look at the quarterbacks from both sides, the 2 freshmen for UCLA, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Of course, the huge fumble by Matt Moore. Carson Palmer has been brilliant.
2nd down and 5 coming up now for Southern California as Drew Olson with his teammates. That was Griffith you saw there wearing that 14. That's not Olson. You got Mackenzie in the slot. He goes in motion. Malefou does a lot of things for this football team. Carson Palmer throws quickly. The ball is tipped by number 94, Rusty Williams, and the tip carried out of bounds. Nobody could reach it.
Boy, Rusty Williams dropping out of his defensive end spot, reading the quick 3-step drop. Here he is right here. Watch him just drop right out. Boy, if he picks this one off, he makes up for that bad snap in a big way because he might have taken it into the end zone or at least given the Bruins great field position.
It's 3rd down and 5 now for Southern California. Bruins trying to hold them. Carson Palmer pumps it, now lets it go, has a man, ball is right on target to Kareem Kelly. Kelly is dragged down, but not until he's at the UCLA 34-yard line. Matt Ware finally ran him down.
Just as they started the game with the first play of the game, Carson Palmer to Kareem Kelly against Matt Ware with a double move. Here they are locked up on the outside here. You talked about that pump fake, Keith. Well, it's timed for that move by Kelly, faking the slant and then going up top. Now, Matt Ware is 6'3", 205 pounds, but when you have a big, tall defensive backs like that, they have trouble changing direction.
41 yards on that play. First down, Trojans, 34 of the Bruins. Here's the reverse with Colbert. Colbert has a convoy. Touchdown. Mattos and Mackenzie escorted him untouched across the goal line. 34 yards, and the Trojans have taken away, dashed, if you will, the second half hopes of UCLA. Something that decisive and that easily done can take away the will of a team.
And they had him in 3rd down and 5. Two big plays. They're in the end zone.
Yep. Colleen's point good. 4 plays, 80 yards, a minute and 26 seconds off a 3rd and 5.
It's a slow developing reverse, but one that's perfectly executed. Here's Colbert, 83. Now watch the block of number 77 right here. That is Jacob Rogers. And now the convoy, who's leading it? But number 3 lifting the finger, number 1, into the end zone for the Trojans. Carson Palmer out in front, happy he didn't have to lay a block on anybody.
He's going to have to come over and sit down with Norm Chow, and Norm is going to begin the conversation by saying, son, you only have one body and 4 limbs. Let us not get too frisky. We have games left to play.
You know, that's one of those trick plays that Bob Toledo's been so good at calling for the Bruins. Pete Carroll pulls one out and out-executes Toledo with the run by Colbert. And the Trojans, again, are over 30 points, something they've done in each of the last 6 games.
Jason Harrison and Matt Clark are waiting for the kickoff from Killeen. At the 10-yard line, it's Clark. He was a half a step away from finding some running room, but he's got a good return out to the 32. ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by Pontiac. Fuel for the soul. Pepsi Blue, a fusion of berries with a splash of cola. It's a blue thing. And the Office of National Drug Control Policy, Parents, the anti-drug. Drew Olson is your quarterback. Ebell is your tailback. Ebell the ball. Oh, nice move. Sidestepped that first tackler and just slipped right past him and went for what appears to be a first down. You know who it was? He juked Polamalu. You don't juke Troy Polamalu very much.
Now, the one thing Polamalu does sometimes is he comes and he dips his head and goes low. You can see him breaking down there. That was an outstanding move by Ebell. The quick cut off that right leg.
Got his first down out to the 43-yard line. And Akeel Harris is back there now as Olson throws underneath. Pass good. And Mike Seidman, the tight end, makes it a big play as he takes the ball down to the Southern California side of the field at the 40.
This is what the Bruins have to do. They have to speed the tempo of this game up, and they've got to do it throwing the ball and finding their best athletes. Seidman is a mismatch for any secondary, and Ebell has shown that he has the moves to make things happen as well.
They need 3 quick touchdowns in the 3rd quarter to have this thing have some interest in the 4th quarter. And this is Ebell popping out of there, and the last man got him. Marcell Almond, otherwise he's gone. He was ragging on me for calling him gone against Oregon State when they ran him down from behind on that long run.
Yeah, he knew it was a mistake. This one is not a mistake. This is a great effort to get to behind DeShaun Hill. Fine tackle by Marcell Almond, but that was one man away from getting in the end zone.
Ball is resting now at the 27-yard line as they put the change down for the Bruins. This is a very sharp-looking movement by the Bruin offense. And Olsen's pass is away, and the pass intended for Seidman. I don't know that Mike ever saw it. Now he's saying, what hit me? Don't I get any help from you guys wearing the striped shirts? What's the matter with it?
Yeah, he says that Troy Polamalu was pulling on him when that ball was coming in from Olsen, and I'm not so sure he's not right. This offense just seems to function better with Drew Olsen at quarterback. He's been the starter.
There's Tab Berry. Looks like he's headed for the clubhouse. Left leg bothering him. Manuel White in the backfield. It's second down and 10. Throwing the ball still. Olsen is sacked. Fumble. That's going to call a fumble. And they're fighting for the ball all the way back on the UCLA 49-yard line. It was DeShaun Hill who came in and belted Olsen, and the Trojans have the ball.
Fourth major mistake for UCLA today. Olsen has got to be able to read the weak safety blitz. That is what DeShaun Hill is. He's the weak safety. And here he is, lined up right here, creeping up to the line of scrimmage, and then shooting the gap. Olsen looks like he's looking right at him. Got to know where to go with this blitz adjustment. Great job by Hill getting his hand on the ball and snuffing it out so it's not a forward pass and that it is ruled a fumble.
Never let him get his arm going forward past the point of the shoulder. So it's a fumble, and it's USC ball at the 50-yard line. Wow. And Palmer lets it go downfield. He's got a man wide open, Kelly, and he missed him. A little late getting it to him. Running to his left, throwing with the right arm. You got to square your shoulders, and that's not easy.
Trojans are just going for the kill shot again. And now the double move is on Ricky Manning by Kareem Kelly. Just could not locate the ball because of the difficulty in the release point for Carson Palmer.
Second down and 10. Fargas. 3 yards.
Both Kareem Kelly and Keary Colbert are averaging over 20 yards a catch. Both have been in the end zone, and of course Colbert had that 34-yard run on the reverse to start the second half. So both these wide receivers, we're not getting much of a contribution out of Mike Williams because of his injuries, but the other two are really picking it up.
Third down and 7 now. You got a bunch. They got the bunch group on this side. 3 of them, and they scatter. And the ball is thrown. Now, oh, my goodness, should have been intercepted. Should have been intercepted. I mean, he threw it right to Ben Emanuel. And Ben was so surprised, I don't think he had any clue the ball would be thrown directly at him like that. That was Palmer's bad throw of the day right there.
Yeah, he's thrown 115 passes without an interception, and he ought to send a thank you note to Ben Emanuel because that streak will continue.
Malone is in the punt. He'll try to hit it high and kill it deep. Last time he did it on the 6-yard line.
And we know what that led to.
Fair catch call at the 14-yard line by Craig Bragg, and that's where the Bruins will possess it with 10:54 to go in the third quarter.
Tab Perry go off the field with that ankle injury left. I just talked with the trainer, Jeff Schatt. He said he is done for the day. In an interesting twist, though, some of the assistants were talking to Matt Ware. John Duberback has also got a toe injury. They said you might have to go in and play a little receiver. Keith.
Well, Junior Taylor's helped in. He was in on this last snap, and you got Josh Renicky, who's in there right now, number 6. They've still got people. 2nd down and 10. What they need is a couple of touchdowns. The ball is pitched outside to Craig Bragg. Bragg running around the opposite side of the field, turns up over the 20 and to the 21. Marcell Almond, who's played very well today. Marcell Almond may have found his place for the next level of football at that corner spot.
Well, he's been just rock solid, especially in tackling.
Started out as a wide receiver. He was one of the great sprinters that was part of that receiving corps.
And at 6 foot, you know, he's one of those bigger defensive backs who can handle some of these tall receivers in this conference.
That was Matt Ware we saw there. It's down on the UCLA side. It's 3rd down now. They need 3 yards. Olsen's pass is incomplete. Tried to force the ball into Mike Seidman, and no chance. Mike was covered by 2 Trojans. And so UCLA will give it up. And USC should come out of this one again with very good field position. Pixie will punt. Pixie is capable of kicking it a very long way. They send Kareem Kelly out now to return this punt. So they are looking for big play here with Kareem Kelly back there.
And he's hoping for a long Pixie punt to give him some room.
Yep, longer the better for him.
Yep.
And it's low. It's going to be a tail dragger, though, and he gets a good bounce on it. Now he's got one Bruin to get by. Gets away from him. Now finds a little bit of daylight coming back into the middle and comes up to the 39-yard line where the Trojans will have it. And leading comfortably by 28.
And they have a huge game next week against Notre Dame, and this type of offense that they're showing today against UCLA will have the Notre Dame coaches up late at night trying to figure out how to stop it all.
2nd down and 7. Ohio State was the winner today, in case you haven't heard. 13-0 for the first time in school history. Jim Tressel getting off to a great start there as he takes over that program. Carson Palmer is being chased, and finally he is dogged down at about the 40-yard line. So here's Todd now with more information about Matt Ware's problems.
Well, Keith, we want to scratch Matt Ware from any plans of playing offense. Right now, the Bruins would like to get him back on defense. He's having problems with his hamstring getting rubbed down, but at this point, he is off the field entirely.
Matthew Clark thus comes into play at that corner position for the Bruins, replacing Matt Ware.
A little bit of a size difference there, Keith. You go from a 6'3" corner to a 5'9" corner in Matt Clark.
Bruins still have Washington State to play here in the Rose Bowl on December 7. There are penalty flags all over the field as Palmer puts it in the air for Colbert, and it's off Keary's hands. Incomplete. He had a chance to catch it against Clark, but he didn't reel it in. But there's flags everywhere back upfield. Dave Kataya will tell us about it. It's against USC.
Illegal motion, offense. That penalty's declined. 4th down.
Can't see much of the old San Gabriels today. The haze has pretty well covered them up.
You call that haze, huh?
Yeah. Yep.
I was wondering where the forest fire was.
Oh, well, that's haze. That's the ocean providing that.
Oh.
It sends it over the mountain, and then it catches everything else it drifts through and just holds it.
Didn't they used to call that smog?
No, the smog's only part of it.
Oh, okay. Chamber of Commerce, huh?
Well, not me. Not me. I sit in my back porch and look at it. It turns brown. Well, Malone didn't get all of that one, and coming up to make the catch for the Bruins with great courage was Craig Bragg, who could have been sawed in half but he gives them fair field position at the 27. Our aerial coverage today courtesy of Goodyear and its fleet of airships, which reminds you to take all of life's journeys on the wings of Goodyear. Another update now from Todd.
Well, Keith, you know these rivalry games, strange things happen, but I've seen the second coming of Willis Reed. Tab Perry just ran out of the locker room, pointed to the trainer, gave him a thumbs up. Tab Perry in the lineup.
Well, now, it's more drama when you do what Willis did, come dragging your leg out. On the first play, nothing.
And more dramatic when you score.
Hey.
Bruins need it from anybody. And they need it now.
They need 3 of them.
You wonder how proficient Drew Olson is at running the hurry-up offense. That's something Toledo's got to think about.
Second down, 9. Polamalu's coming. He gets bumped off. And the pass is thrown high and incomplete. Polamalu was coming like a truck going downhill, but got just a hip from one of the Bruins, and that threw him off the track, and it saved their quarterback from getting clobbered.
And when he comes, I know he's got a bad ankle, but he is so fast. He has just a total disregard for the pain in that ankle. Heard it against Washington State, but certainly doesn't appear to slow him down at all.
Well, he's wearing a brace on it still, but he told me Wednesday that he felt fine. Third down and 9. Out of the shotgun, dropped the ball. And he's dropped on the 25. So Drew Olson didn't handle the snap cleanly. I don't know that it was a good snap, but it was good enough, and Omar Nazel was right in his face and took him down. Nazel has become, Nazel and Udeze, the defensive ends for Southern California, are really quick.
Keith, 8 of their 11 defensive starters have started all 10 games. So they've stayed healthy, and when you stay together and play together, it just shows in the way you play.
At 6:40 to go into third quarter. Bruins have to punt it away again. Bixby gets a little more under this one and lifts it down to the 29. And return is to the 34 by Kareem Kelly. So it's a 35-7 ball game. Southern California just sitting on it right now in the third quarter. Defense is impressive. Sultan McCullough, who is a native son of Pasadena area, played at Muir High School, is playing today. Mike Williams, that little snap pass outside. I asked Pete the other day, sitting visiting with him, are you having any fun? And he answered this way.
It's as much fun as you can have in coaching. This is the moments and the opportunities that you live for, and I'm excited. I'm proud of our team and the way we play, and I'm looking forward to good things happening.
Pretty good stuff going on for him right now.
There was a lot of conversation earlier in the year. Remember, we did the Auburn game to start the season and how difficult SC's schedule was going to be. Go back, they lose to K-State, and they lost to Washington State on the road.
Both those games they could have won, though, but just simply played a little better.
Yeah.
But dropped a bunch of passes against Kansas State. Couldn't defend the option very well, which is something you don't see.
And then missed an extra point against Washington State, which would have given them a 4-point lead late in that game.
Missed a field goal opportunity to win it in overtime. So it's a pretty good schedule. And they've still got Notre Dame to play. Next Saturday night from the Coliseum, 5 o'clock, we'll have it for you. I like this driving to work. It's fun.
I bet you do.
This is Sultan McCullough slamming into the middle. And he's going to get it up to the move in the chains area at the 40, near the 48-yard line. First down for USC. Kelly comes out of the ball game now. And this is bad news, I think, for the Fighting Irish. The Trojans are not, they're now in a position where they really don't have to sell everything. They've got enough cushion to maybe coast the rest of the way. Palmer back, he's going deep. It's incomplete, intended for Mike Williams. Ben Emanuel defending on the play. So I think the Bruins at least have shown today that Williams is defendable. Monday night, superstar Donovan McNabb is out of the ball game and out for the season. Up to the Philly D then to step in and do the work in the heavy stuff against the San Francisco 49ers. That'll be Eagles 49ers Monday night at 6 Pacific time on ABC television. Mark the middle. Kelly Hayes headed there. This is McCullough. Oh, Sultan was very close to popping that thing and getting out of there and going a long way. Brandon Chiller, however, was the man who stopped it. Brandon's a junior out of Carlsbad. Those UCLA linebackers we told you are 1, 2, 3 in tackles on the team.
And this is a fine job by Chiller to fall back and keep Sultan McCullough from getting huge yardage down the sideline. But McCullough is a senior. So is Malefou Mackenzie and Justin Fargas. They've all stayed healthy this year, something they couldn't do last year.
Third and 5. That's a first down. Ball goes down to the 40-yard line with Mackenzie. Next year, you'll be looking at Hershel Dennis for one. Brandon Hancock. And they've got some others. There's Hancock, number 28. He's a fullback, a 235-pound freshman out of Fresno. He's played quite a bit this year. And so has Dennis, who came out of Long Beach College, along with Winston Justice. Palmer going again. Ball's in the air for Keary Colbert, and a penalty flag is thrown to the field judge.
They may get holding against the Bruins secondary as Colbert was breaking loose.
And number 6 is Matthew Clark. And that's the call.
Holding. Defense on an eligible receiver on a pass across the line of scrimmage. Penalty 10 yards previous spot. Automatic first down.
That's the difference between pass interference and holding. 10 yards holding, 15 yards pass interference.
But there's no easing up for Pete Carroll. Norm Chow still got that throttle on full.
Norm doesn't know anything else. Bruins almost jumped. No flag. Plays into the middle. It's about a yard's worth.
A yard's worth. That means that Sultan McCullough ran 10 yards. He lined up 9 yards deep in the backfield that time. And perhaps just a tad too deep.
Well, he's been probably watching Justin Fargas and listening to all this noise about Justin thumping in there with such fury. And he's decided, well, if that works for him, I'll try it. Fargas is back in now. Little hitch out here to the right side to Mike Williams. This is a play that Williams is particularly tough on. He doesn't have all that much luck with those deep bombs, but you throw that little pop thing out there to him and get him one-on-one. He's big enough and fast enough to do something with it. And it's first and goal for Southern California at the Bruin 5.
And here he is, a freshman, beating up on a senior. Watch this stiff arm from Williams right there on Ricky Manning. Right in the chops, right to the ground, and almost into the end zone for Mike Williams. That's the best he's looked all day.
McCullough's back in now. In his hometown. He gets it. He finds a little daylight, goes down to the 4th. I think they're conscious now of getting Sultan a touchdown in this ball game if they can. He's coming off right now. Kelly's out. Fargas is back. Mackenzie's in there in the backfield. Fargas. Well, he didn't get much that time. Rusty Williams got a piece of him, and Jared Page comes up from the secondary and really popped him. Page is impressive. So is Williams. Williams, however, is a senior. Rusty's going to be going on. The Bruins have had 22 freshmen on this football team contributing, playing. They have only 14 seniors, and 7 of those 14 are starters. Fargas, the tailback. Palmer stands up and throws. Touchdown. Greg Gunther. Gunther, 6'8", 240. I would imagine Henry's got a place for him on the basketball squad, wouldn't you think?
Well, he did a good job of posting up in the end zone, keeping the defender behind him, and using that big body at 6'8", 245, his first touchdown catch.
That is Palmer's 4th touchdown pass of the day. So he's having his way today with the Bruins in his final appearance against them.
Yeah, and Keith, and no interceptions for Carson Palmer as his string continues. Greg Gunther only caught 6 passes coming into the game. Again, a little double move out and then back to the inside, and watch as he keeps the defender behind him and gives his quarterback a target. Reaches out with those long arms, makes the catch.
Well, I'm not much for promoting individual awards. I never have, and I don't believe in it because some people get exposures and other worthy ones don't. But I'm just forced to step up and say out loud that I think Carson Palmer is as valid a candidate for the Heisman Trophy as anybody in the country.
I couldn't agree with you more, Keith. He's performed exceptionally well the entire year, but especially in the second half of the season, he has just been perfect. And the confidence that he exudes is picked up by his teammates, and his ability to deal the ball to all his receivers with the combination of the running backs, Fargas and McCullough and Mackenzie. It's a wonderful thing to see.
We got 2 Bruins circling under it. It's Jason Harrison finally getting it. And Jason's got a problem, goes down on about the 10-yard line. Here's what Pete Carroll, the Trojan coach, says about his quarterback, Carson Palmer. Is he worthy?
It's been a long haul for him to get to this point, and he's deserving of the attention and of the focus, I think. He's surely going to get it from the NFL. You know, they know. They figured it out in the last 2 months that this guy's the real deal, and you know, they're going to be excited about getting him.
It is, however, you know, one of the problems of living in the West, the time zone difference between this part of the country and a lot of Heisman votes on the Midwest and East Coast.
Long time since our last West Coast Heisman winner, Marcell Almond.
Yeah. He was here today. Drew Olson puts it in the air, and it is intercepted. Not quite long enough and picked off by Marcell Almond.
Well, Almond's a former wide receiver. That's his first interception. So on back-to-back plays, we get the first touchdown catch for Greg Gunther, and then Marcell Almond just getting pounded on the sidelines as he read this route the whole way, trying to get it deep to Tab Perry. And it looks like Almond was running the post route himself.
First one. Well, there's young Drew. He's bright and shiny. You'll hear from him. He's just starting.
That's such a tough order as an 18-year-old to play in this stadium, in this game, against this team.
Palmer going deep. He gets his feet tangled up a little bit, and Mike Williams could not get back to the ball, and Sean Phillips came in and popped Carson Palmer a pretty good lick.
Yeah, if you're Pete Carroll, aren't you thinking about getting Palmer out of the game and putting in one of the youngsters, Castle or Leinart?
I oftentimes start rooting for that, you know.
I mean, 35 points against this defense. There's no way the Bruins are going to win this game.
There's no experience behind Palmer.
No.
That's Leonard on the left, and Matt Leinart and Matt Castle. Leinart 11 and Castle 10. They'll run it. Get a yard on the play with Fargas carrying. And we're coming on down to the end of the third quarter, and here's Carson Palmer's Pac-10 records that he set today. Passing yards, career, completions, attempts.
And how about 19 touchdown passes in his last 5 games? That's what the Heisman Trophy is all about, or what it should be all about. Contributing, carrying your team, being the best player. And I would argue that he has been the best player, especially over these last 5 games in the country.
Yep. Ball is thumped in there, incomplete. Bounces off Kareem Kelly. And we'll spend a moment now with John Saunders.
Keith, a little luster off this one, but it still is Callan Stanford. Jameel Powell fields the kick and goes 84 yards. Look at the speed. You see teammates in who's number 1, at least in that game. Powell adds to the lead over Stanford, now 30-7.
What a job for Jeff Tedford, huh? Boy.
Yeah, there was no band on this field yet.
I'll tell you what, that cupboard wasn't bare. Couldn't have been. That counts. Here's Malone's punt. And it bounces on the 1. The Trojans lost track of it. And those of you watching, I would say to you, don't have to let the ball bounce on a punt. You can catch it and put it down. This is a story that has to do with 1954 when Paul Bryant went to Texas A&M and took a bunch of young'uns out in the desert of West Texas and brought them back, and as the time went along, they became men, and Bryant's legend started to grow. He came there from Kentucky, and he went from there to Alabama.
Good offsetting personal foul penalties that will offset, obviously, and give the ball to UCLA. It should be at the 20-yard line, though.
Kennedy Pola getting in somebody's face there for a minute, who coaches the special teams. He's intense. I mean, Kennedy wakes up on game day. He's ready.
Also the running back coach for the Trojans, and a big part of the reason the Trojans have been able to turn it around this year with their running game, committing to Justin Fargas, averaging over 123 yards a game on the ground. Big improvement over last year.
40 seconds to go in the third quarter. Bruins start at the 20. Olsen runs out of time. He had a short drop and may have fumbled. He did fumble. The Trojans have the ball. Udeze came in and blistered him, and the ball came out. And Bob Toledo is right now feeling like he really is up creek.
Keith,
and no paddle.
This is a 2-man route for UCLA. That means he has 8 guys blocking for him. 3-step drop. USC drops off, and now he does not protect the ball as Udeze. Outstanding job of ripping the ball out as he's climbing on the back of the young quarterback. 4 tackles for a loss today for Udeze and 5 turnovers for UCLA.
Malefou Mackenzie is the deep back, and he's got the ball. Wants to turn upfield, and Bruins go after him and get him. "20 seconds to go in the third quarter in a 42-7 ball game. Having Southern California win is not particularly surprising, frankly, but the margin at the moment is surprising. So we played 3 at the Rose Bowl. 42-7 Trojans. ABC Sports presentation of college football. Back after this message and the word from our ABC station. On the just inside the 18-yard line, 2nd down and 11. And this is Justin Fargas getting down to about the 10-yard line. Now let's go to Todd and have a chat with Marcus.
All right, Keith, back in 1981, he was the man. Marcus, you got to be pretty happy with your Trojans today.
Thrilled. Love the job Pete Carroll's doing. The football program's headed in the right direction. I'm very, very happy.
Let's talk about the Heisman. I don't want to stir up the hornet's nest here, but you've seen a lot of great players. How does Carson fare?
Let me in the suspense. I'm voting for Carson. I think there's been a lot of East Coast bias and stuff, and the players on the West Coast really haven't had a chance. I think, matter of fact, I talked to Joey Harrington the other day and interviewed him for a feature during Thanksgiving. But players are just not getting their due out on the West Coast, and I don't think it's fair.
All right, folks, you heard it here first. Marcus Allen does have a vote, and he's already told us it's going to
Carson Palmer.
All right, thank you, sir.
You got it.
Attaboy, Marcus.
21 years is long enough, and all you have to do is look at what Palmer has done this year, and look what he has done lately. And there aren't any other candidates around the country that jump out at you.
Well, they promote him. And people hear it back there, and then the kids out here playing early part of the season. A lot of them play night games, and they don't see him or hear him. And if they call that whining, I don't think, call it what you want. I don't think it's fair. And the kick is good. And that three-pointer of 27 yards will make it 45-7 Southern California. Sun begins to head for the Pacific. ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by Nissan and your Nissan dealer. Miller Lite. Life is best told at a place called Miller Time. And Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. So here come the Bruins. The hard facts of life has been raining down today on the two freshman quarterbacks. In particular, Drew Olson, who's played most of the game. Matt Moore was in the second quarter. The handoff is inside to Manuel White. And Manny White's across the 30 to the 33. Let's find out about what's shaken up in Corvallis as we visit with John Saunders.
Yeah, the Beavers and the Ducks. Derek Anderson is going to go back to pass. Waits, stays in the pocket, finds Kenny Farley. Picture-perfect 17-yard touchdown, and the Beavers lead it 31-17, Keith.
Ducks are all beat up, John. They had two rough weeks against the two Washington teams. But they were in it. They're 24-17 starting the third quarter, and now the Beavers are struck again. Here's Olson throwing to the sideline. His man was free and clear. It was Craig Bragg, and it's good for a first down. So all of a sudden, Drew saw that blue shirt out there by himself. He must have felt like jumping for joy.
Well, the mindset of the secondary for SC right now is let's not get beat deep. We'll give them the 20-yard out. We'll give them everything underneath. And let's see if they can move down the field. But we're not going to let them get a bomb. So you'll see this secondary really loosen up.
Oh, not much in that one. There's Olson faked the pitch and came right back and drilled Manuel White. And Manny had to catch it, otherwise he'd be going to the finish.
One thing Drew Olson does, he does throw a hard ball, sometimes too hard, in his anxiety to get rid of it before he gets tattooed. Anthony Day that time with pressure.
Ball is at the 46. Second down, 9. We are in the fourth quarter, just beginning. And it's 45-7 Trojans. They look for a daylight in the middle for Ebell, and Tyler can't find any because Troy Polamalu has camped there and is rather vigorous about protecting his property.
Keith, what it is, like all great players, they have a sense. They seem to know what the play is before the ball is even snapped. And Polamalu was just hanging around in the middle of the field there, decided to come on a blitz, and really, timing was perfect.
Third and 10. Oh, no. They're begging for the interception, but they won't get it. He short hopped it. Ball was tipped. And the interception was almost, but not quite. And so the Bruins again will have to punt it away.
Looked like Polamalu might have got away with a holding penalty right there. In fact, that was more than holding. It was both that and pass interference.
Twelve and a half minutes to play in a ball game as Fixie is in to punt again. His 5th of the day. It's a good one. Fair catch is called back at the 15-yard line, and we've got a violation of the halo here. One of the Bruins got inside of that 2-yard protective circle, and that's what drew the flag.
It was Joe Hunter who came in and just brushed the back of Kareem Kelly as he went by.
That's a very...
Personal foul. Interference contact with the receiver against the kicking team. Penalty is 15 yards. First down.
So that's different than violating the halo, which is only a 10-yard penalty.
They call it personal foul instead of just the halo violation. To play in a ball game.
He must have threatened the coach not to take him out.
Little quick pop out there. Again, it's Mike Williams getting him one. See what he can do when you get him out there and a little bit of space around him. He's very good and just picked up a first down on that reception.
And the only thing he hasn't really been able to do is to stretch out and run under a deep ball. But these short passes he's been able to catch, make the first guy miss, and then get yardage down the sidelines. Again, it's Ricky Manning, number 9 up here. And then the strength of that strong right arm in the face of the weak safety, Ben Manuel.
Put it on the 43 for the first down. Sultan McCullough flashing in, and he's got 4, close to 5. And Mike Williams now owns the freshman record at Southern California with 9 and Pac-10 as well. 997 receiving yards this season. No Pac-10 freshman's ever exceeded 1,000 yards.
And very few freshmen have led in any category, let alone receiving. He's the leading receiver for the Trojans.
Why don't we send him a note so they know about this? He needs 4 yards. They're going to run Sonny Bird, fullback, and Sonny Bird will pound his way to the 45-yard line on the Bruins side of the field, and it's a first down. You want to see what it's like when time is running out? ABC presents a world premiere movie, The Pennsylvania Miners Story, tomorrow at 9 Pacific Time on ABC. So that's the next storyline that we could follow, I guess, is will Mike Williams get that 4-yard catch that he needs to get 1,000 yards and become the first freshman to do it. The run with Sonny Bird again, and he'll bang in there for a couple of more yards at 10:40 to play in the ball game.
Sonny Bird, the crowd favorite, got quite an ovation from the Trojan fans in both end zones after that first carry, picked up the first down.
He's a senior, too. This is his Well, he's got one more regular season game next Saturday night against Notre Dame, and then a bowl game somewhere.
Here's William.
Well, run it with Bird. I can understand that they don't want to throw the ball any more than they have to, but under the circumstances. And here comes one man hobbling. That's the center, Norm Katnick. And Norm's going to take a second here, whether it's an ankle or whether it's a knee, but he's the center. Backup center is Derek Graff. There are others there who have played at the center position, but it's Graff coming out to replace Katnick. Lose your center, that's tough. This one is handled, but there's two more. Norm is a junior from Santa Ana.
And this smart thing that the Trojans are doing, they're taking Graff over to the sidelines and giving him a couple of practice snaps with Carson Palmer. This is excellent coaching is what this is right here.
Here's Todd.
Well, Keith, bad luck for Leinart and Castle, the backup quarterbacks. They were set to take some snaps from Derek Graff right when that injury took place. So now they've got to just throw the ball, and both of them right now, 11 and 10, Leinart and Castle are both warming up their arms.
3rd down and 7 now for Southern California. And where's Williams? Not in there. Nope. Hershel Dennis is the deep back, and he's got the ball and trying to get around the corner, and that wide receiver over there put a pretty good block on a Bruin, but Dennis couldn't get to the corner soon enough, and he comes up short of the 1st down, I think.
That wide receiver was D. Hale, number 82. You see the two young quarterbacks get loose on the sidelines. Here's Hale on the outside. That's a great block as he's working on Matt Clark, number 6.
He actually got 2 pretty good blocks.
He came off that first one, didn't he?
Yeah. Took Kevin Brent in that second one. So it's 4th down and 3, and they're going to go for it. They run it. They got it. Up the middle he goes. It's a foot race. It's a touchdown. Hershel Dennis. And you may be looking at next year's tailback for the Southern California Trojans.
They're going to get a celebration penalty against USC, but why not? You break the 50-point barrier, go out there and have a ball. Hershel Dennis with his first touchdown as a USC Trojan on a 4th down. Just splits that middle of the field.
Non-contact.
And they're not going to catch him with this speed. And the one of those Long Beach Poly Jackrabbits.
15 yards on the try.
They'll put 15 yards on the extra point try, which will add to the excitement of that.
Yeah, I can't wait. Could be a turning point. I mean, let them celebrate. Why are you throwing a flag? This is a rivalry game. A kid just scores a touchdown. It's 51-7. My word.
The taunting and showboating is bad. The celebration is one thing, but some of the stuff that goes with it needed to be removed.
Oh, come on.
I that's all right. Ryan Khalid, 35 yards. Oh, it's plenty of legs. He kicked it all the way to Anaheim, and it's good. So it is 52-7, USC over UCLA with 9:09 to play in the game. Bouncer bouncing down the field, and it's going to be fielded by Jason Harrison. Whoa, that's a pretty good lick on Jason as he comes up to the 25-26-yard line. Going to have to chase everybody back to the bench because they're all up on the edge of the field now, and that's what the referee did. Oscar Lua looked like he was the fellow who did the big hit. 6 different Trojans have scored touchdowns today. Colbert has 2. And
Jason Leach going low and Oscar Lua going high.
Yep.
Lua now is the middle linebacker replacing Mike Pollard.
And they hand the ball away to Tyler Rideaux. And he'll slant it around and work it up the sidelines for about 6 yards.
Time for our Pacific Life game summary. A bad start to a game that just got worse for the Bruins. We've had fumbles, we've had interceptions, pressures, sacks, 5 turnovers for a team that was coming into the game one of the best in the nation at protecting the ball, the UCLA Bruins.
2nd down, 4. Olsen gets it away, sets up a screen on the other side, and Moore it is, Matt Moore. And that didn't work. There's a loss, maybe a half a yard gain on it, but not much. Matt Moore in now to finish up in relief of Drew Olsen, who took a pretty good pummeling in the 3rd and early in the 4th quarter.
And you go back to the early in the game when Matt Moore first came into the game. The Bruins had the ball on the 6-yard line where he was inserted by Bob Toledo for Drew Olsen. He fumbled his first snap, got it back, fumbled his second snap. Trojans get the ball, and then they go in 28-7 lead.
Moore is knocked down behind the line of scrimmage after he releases the ball. It's Oscar Lua again, a freshman out of Indio, California, in on him. Pass was incomplete, and it's 4th down and 2. Bixby, the punter, and Carson, the receiver here. 92,000 something here to attend the game today, but at least 2/3 of them are now out redoing the tailgating gig.
Clogging the freeways.
Clogging the freeway. Well, next Saturday, the old intersectional that has been so famous across the years is renewed one more time as Notre Dame comes to the Coliseum to play Southern California. Many, many, many memories out of this series, and many great games played. And it was Mrs. Rockner's interest in touring the motion picture studios that finally helped convince her husband Canute to bring what he then called the Ramblers to Los Angeles to play Southern California. Homer Jones is the coach at the time, and Matt Castle is in at quarterback now for Southern California. So the Trojans have finally put Carson Palmer on the bench at 52-7, where he should be. The rest for next week. Not bad. 19 out of 32 for 254 yards, and he has now put in the book 3 records. The crowd today at 91,084. That's the official number. And there they are.
Palmer keeps that streak of not throwing interception alive. 125 passes now without throwing to the other team.
On 2nd and 9, they keep running the ball, and weaving around and finding a little bit of room is Hershel Dennis. Dennis is a 175-pound freshman. He'll get bigger. Time permitting, stay tuned for the Thrifty Carmichael postgame report with scores and highlights from around the country. Maybe a couple of jokes, and Terry may do a little soft shoe or something if John will play for him.
You know, Hershel Dennis spent most of the week on the scout team, giving the SC defense a look at what Tyler Ebel would look like on Saturday. Must have done a pretty good job, as the Trojans will not allow another 100-yard rusher again, Keith. 56 yards for Ebel today.
Well, the tackler missed, and Hershel Dennis just keeps on churning and goes to midfield for a first down for Southern California. Bruins are dog-tired now. I mean, their will's gone, their bodies are worn out, and the issue is decided at 52-7 with 6.5 minutes to play. There is no longer any doubt. And you begin to wonder, here comes Notre Dame now. They were heralded and hailed and all of that. until Boston College beat them.
Well, this preparation, SC beating UCLA in this fashion, a lot more impressive than what Notre Dame did today against Rutgers, and better preparation for next week's game.
It'll be at 5 o'clock Pacific time, 8 o'clock Eastern time next Saturday night. And high above us, the Goodyear Blimp Spirit of America, providing these aerial pictures. 2002, the 104th anniversary of Goodyear, and 77th for their blimp fleet. The cameraman, Fabian Ochoa, and the pilot is Tom Mattos. Thank you, gentlemen. So this is not one of those games that the Bruins are going to care much about talking about. They'll be a little surly around the golf club for a couple of days, but there's other years to come. There was a time when they ran off 8 straight, 9 straight. USC now is winning 4th straight. From 1991 to 98, it was all UCLA.
But the problem is, Keith, is 365 or so more days. They've got to live with this. 2 years now, 8 being outscored 89 rather to 7.
Yeah, that's enough to make you cranky, all right. Castle dumps it off, gets a little screen going with Hershel Dennis, and they can't get much out of it on 3rd down and 7. And so it'll be 4th down. And probably a punt. I don't know. Castle's walking off the field. And somebody is saying, are we going to punt? Hello, hello, hello. And the answer is yes. As Malone finally, well, now here goes Castle back out on the field. So the answer is no.
This is about where Hershel Dennis broke through last time on 4th down, isn't it?
Yep. 46, I think it was. 38. Well, Castle's going to throw it. Penalty flag away. The ball is caught by Grant Mattos. He's got a 1st down. But the flag was thrown across the way by the linesman.
Thrown just as the ball was snapped. May mean that there was a false start or a Bruin in the neutral zone.
False start. So that'll back them up 5.
Illegal formation on the offense. Only 6 players in the line of scrimmage. Penalty 5 yards. Previous spot.
No, not a false start. Just simply didn't have enough folks up there. Well, the movement they have these days in the offense, where one guy steps up, 2 guys step back, and all that going on, and sometimes when you have a bunch of new players on the field.
Yep.
And Pete's probably saying, why did you have to throw the flag for? I'm hungry. Ball is smack dab on the center stripe. It is now Oregon State, what is that, 38 to 17 over Oregon. Cal is leading Stanford 30 to 7. And the Bruins on 4th down and 11 run the ball. All they want to do is get the clock going, and on the exchange, of course, it stops. And we've got 3:49 to play in the ball game. So at least Matt Castle will get a little bit of game action. Bruins are walking back.
Yeah, they are. That offensive line got their heads down and the tail between their legs.
Yep.
Well, he signaled it against UCLA, and now he's getting the teams to come back up the field.
Personal foul, offense. Player obviously out of the play, being blocked in the back. Penalty 15 yards. Each 1st down.
Whoa. That's a big one. 3:42 to play in the ball game.
That's kind of been the way the game has gone for the Bruins.
Just fell apart. Since 1930 is the biggest margin of victory today. It was 52 to nothing back then. It's 52 to 7 today. Biggest ever was 76 to nothing.
1930, that was quite a year, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Penalty being forced from the end of the run as the block occurred after.
The year my bride was born.
There you go.
I'm not sure I understand exactly what they're doing here. They're marching up and down the field again.
Well, they're penalizing it after the end of the play. Now, shouldn't that penalty be enforced from where the action took place?
Well, the penalty is applied from where Craig Bragg caught the ball, right, and backed him up. So instead of being down around 21, they're back at the 36. Well, they can laugh about it. Otherwise, there'd be another piece of gray in that head. But they're comfortably ahead, and it's only a matter of concluding it. And we're going at a very leisurely pace about doing that. And Dan's beginning to white-knuckle his flight. Oh, that's incomplete. It was right on the fingertips of Dubravak, and he couldn't pull it in. Friday, we've got a doubleheader for you. We'll start it out with Texas A&M and Texas. And you talk about storied series, that's another one of those old rivalries that goes back a while. And then after that at 12:30 Pacific time, it'll be Colorado and Nebraska. The Buffaloes trying to lock up things in the north. That'll be Friday on ABC Sports, the class of college football. So it looks like the Colorado Buffaloes are going back to that Big 12 championship game, doesn't it?
Yeah, we got a chance to check them out. Earlier in the year, they beat the Bruins pretty good after getting trounced at home by USC. Gary Barnett did a good job of having his team regroup and finding where number 22, Chris Brown, is every play, huh?
Oh, boy. He's a good one. 21-yard line now, where it's a first down. UCLA would like to get another one on the board. And Moore throws it. And I don't know who he was throwing it to.
I think he's trying to get the ball to Keith Carter, reserve tight end, who was covered by a couple of Trojans. Pete can't believe it wasn't called intentionally grounding because Carter was way to the inside near the hash mark. That ball was thrown out of bounds.
So it's second down and 10. We've had enough flags today now. So anything short of something real serious. Even in your pocket.
I'm with you, partner.
Moore got it away in time and gets it down to the 10-yard line. And that will be a first down.
Now, Junior Taylor, another one of these two freshmen that will give the Bruins a bright future. Freshman to freshman here. Taylor's got a lot of ability, too. Once he learns this game a little bit, it's going to be a very dangerous weapon for Bob Toledo.
Yeah, he can really run. He's really good on that reverse stuff.
Yep.
Timeout, UCLA.
So the Bruins spend their first timeout. They've got 2 left at 2:47 to play in the ball game. And a 52-7 Southern California lead, and things are pretty happy on the Trojan side of the field as Pete gets wet. Is in there as the deep back. Matt Moore throws down the middle, wide open. It's Manny White, touchdown. So the Bruins in the closing moments get one.
Good job by young Matt Moore picking up his second touchdown pass of the year and finding Manny White for his first touchdown reception. Manny was really the only highlight for the Bruins so far today with his 7-yard touchdown run earlier in the game.
point. A point try is good. And in the closing hours of sunshine here in the West, it's now 54-14, 52-14. Championship, the Pacific 8-10 championship. All of those things, the Rose Bowl on the line, plus the Heisman Trophy. And it's 21-20 that USC wins, with Juice getting those two big runs. And then, of course, Gary Beeman, the UCLA quarterback, won the Heisman, and the Trojans went on to win everything else. That was, to my mind, one of the best college football games I've ever seen.
Yeah, I agree with you, Keith. That 64-yarder by O.J., you close your eyes, you can still see it.
Yep. But John McKay always said that 12-yarder was a tougher run. UCLA going for the onside kick here, and the Trojans, I don't know who got it. We'll just sort it out here for a minute.
Well, the Trojans had it for a while.
Yep, but UCLA is going to possess it.
I don't think so.
Well,
yeah, they did get it.
Referee's
right.
Pointing out yonder, so that must mean it's blue ball.
Yeah, Jason Leach, number 27, had it. Gets knocked away from him, but if he makes the catch there, it's SC ball. Like Tim Ware, Matt Ware, number 17, going to get it for the Bruins. Good job at keeping it inbounds.
John Shara is in there at quarterback now. Yep, the son of. Daddy was a pretty good one. The young'un has got some time to grow, and he throws a nice soft pass right into the hands of Manuel White. And Manuel White goes stumping down to about the 34-yard line.
A little rollout for John Shara, and Manuel White continues to be the most impressive Bruin on offense this afternoon.
He's been laid up with an injury going back to that Oregon State game, which turned Tyler Hebel loose for 203 yards. But today, Tyler could not shake it loose and do any damage. That's another pass that is completed out of the backfield to Manuel White, and that's going to go for another first down. And so they're moving it right on. It's the Shara to White show right now, and it's working. And we've got 2:01 to play in the ball game. John, the Shara family lives in La Cañada, which is not very far from here.
And again, a freshman.
Yep. There's a bunch of freshmen and sophomores on this UCLA team. I mean, it's 3/4 of the team. That ball is batted down at the line of scrimmage. The big old linemen get their hands up, and 6'2" quarterback has a little trouble throwing one of those flat ropes.
And sometimes that can be more frustrating than getting sacked, because your receiver's open.
Yep.
You got the time to throw, you let it go, and it gets swatted right back at you.
91,084 for the ball game today. The anticipation of the game was very high. But the sky fell on UCLA right at the very beginning. That's down to the 10-yard line, and it's Dubravak, who was coming off a concussion, getting it down there. And more on John with Todd Harris.
Well, Keith, Dubravak, the concussion, the injured toe, they said it might be broken, but he's the only one that knows the feeling. What feeling is that? Well, he's a fifth-year senior. He's the only member of the Bruins that knows what it's like to beat the Trojans. Came back in '98, 34-17. He was a special teams player.
Does that make you heal faster? He knew the shaman. No, can't get this one loose. Too much pressure on him. He couldn't find his way through the crowd, and the big trees got to him, and down he goes, back at about almost the 15-yard line.
It was a fun time of the game for the guys that have been holding the tackling dummies all season long. The backups getting some playing time here in the biggest game of the year.
Today's Chevrolet players of the game are Carson Palmer, obviously, of Southern California, and Manuel White of UCLA. Numbers on them: Palmer, 19 of 32, 254, and 4 touchdowns. Manuel White, 7 carries, 45 yards for a touchdown, 5 catches for 56 yards and a touchdown. And he might do something else within the last minute. In recognition of their effort, Chevrolet making a $1,000 contribution to each University General Scholarship Fund. And so this season is winding down. The Trojans have one left. The Bruins have one left. And depending on what happens up in Pullman, Washington, in a little while, as they begin play up there at 3:30, it's the UCLA game with Washington State, December 7. Might have some echoes. Ohio State winning today to go 13-0, and now the question, of course, is who goes and plays the Buckeyes, because the general assumption is the Buckeyes will be in Tempe.
If the Huskies win today against the Cougs, the Trojans will be Bruins fans next December 7th.
They will. And into the end zone. The pass is caught. Touchdown, Mercedes Lewis, who is another freshman from Lakewood, California, and a Long Beach Poly guy. He's a big guy, standing 6'6" and 240 pounds, and he finally gets into the end zone under a pass.
We've had a number of firsts today. That's the first touchdown pass by John Shara to Mercedes Lewis, his first touchdown reception.
So Shara comes out and does a nice little job. Of course, there was no heat on him. The Trojans had backed off at that time, playing reserves themselves. And the kick is good, and it's a 52-21 game. And you probably look at that if you don't know or haven't seen the game today. Tomorrow, somebody will look at it and say, well, it wasn't too bad. I'm sorry.
This is what you might call a big target. 6'6", 240 pounds, throwing into a crowd. But Lewis with the grab before Forrest Mozart can make the hit. That is the young man's name, Keith. You know
I know that. Yes, I remember him from Boulder. He had made a great play in Boulder against the Buffaloes.
I just love saying that name. What do you think, honey? Baby looks like a Forrest to me, doesn't he?
Can he play the piano? "54 seconds remaining until we say goodbye. Begin the long journey." Trojans and Notre Dame next Saturday night, 5 o'clock, from the Coliseum in this city, Los Angeles. Little onside kick again, and it's popped up and caught on the fly by Sandy Fletcher, and the Trojans will possess the ball. Now they can run out the clock. The Bruins have a 1 timeout remaining, but the issue again is resolved, and there's no point in calling it. But UCLA will take a week off, and then they will play Washington State on December 7th here in the Rose Bowl. Ohio State was the winner today. It is 38-17 Oregon State over Oregon up in Corvallis in the 4th quarter with 9 minutes to play. In the 4th quarter, very late in the ball game, less than a minute, it's California 30 and Stanford 7. So the Golden Bears have popped up and popped the Stanford Cardinal pretty well today. Carrying is, quarterback is Matt Leinart, and carrying on the play for a very little gain. And both coaches trying to get as many people into the ball game as they can now, just to get a feel of it and get a taste of it and say you have played in the USC-UCLA ball game. That was Billy Hart. Going into the ball game, number 13 now, and he is at quarterback. Billy Hart. Handles the snap all right, turns and gives it away to the running back Dennis, and Hershel has about 6-7 yards on the play, and that'll do it. That's going to run out the clock. Your final score: Southern California Trojans winning their 9th of the year, 9-2 now, 52-21 over the UCLA Bruins, who have their 4th loss. And because of the Bruins' early mistakes in the ball game, the Trojans jumped out to a 21-0 lead and really dominated the football game. No question about it. Pete Carroll now getting a right on the shoulders, and let's spend a moment with Todd Harris.
Carson, great victory over a tough rival. It's got to feel nice coming down the home stretch.
It's huge. It's huge for this senior group of guys. A lot of us have been around here for 5 and 6 years, and to go out and beat UCLA at UCLA is a great feeling.
I know you don't like to talk about you and the Heisman because it's a team game, but this is a big statement game for you.
It was, but it was a huge game for this team. The way we've rallied back, the way we finished out this year, we got one more big one against Notre Dame. We want to go out with another victory.
All right, good luck to you. We'll see you next weekend.
Thank you very much.
Keith.
So Carson Palmer, as the Trojans win it 52-21, ABC Sports Online at ESPN.com. The keyword, ABC Sports. And now let's join John Saunders and Terry Bowden in Times Square Stadium in New York City.